Hi, my name is Amber Burtis, and I'm presenting today on Faculty Incentive Programs for OER, a scoping review. My co-authors are Jennifer Horton and Mary Taylor, and we are all librarians at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale in Illinois. So, faculty incentive programs for OER have been an important and widely used early strategy to promote the adoption, adaption, and creation of OER in institutions of higher learning in the United States. However, there's no comprehensive synthesis of the existing literature on the characteristics of these programs to which library administrators can refer when developing their own local programs. So we aimed to produce a scoping review that makes the existing literature on OER faculty incentive programs more accessible to library administrators and other OER decision makers. And so we wanted to summarize the reported characteristics and outcomes of these programs, including the program structure, funding sources, application requirements, program deliverables, student savings, and other characteristics. We also sought to identify possible gaps in the literature and suggest potential avenues for future research or program assessment. So you can see we use the Prisma extension for protocol for scoping reviews. We searched a number of databases as well as the gray literature, and we whittled our studies down to 23 from a start of 1900. I won't go into great detail, but you can see our flow chart here on the right-hand side of the page. You can also take a look at our inclusion and exclusion criteria for which studies we included. We only included peer-reviewed journal articles and gray literature dealing with higher education incentive programs for OER. And here are some more details, and you can refer to our recently published article in the Journal of Library Administration. The citation is down there at the bottom of the page. It'll give you great more detail on the search process and also our inclusion and exclusion criteria. For our data extraction, these are the data points we pulled from those included articles, including the year of publication, the institution's location and type, as well as characteristics related to the administration and structure of the incentive program, as well as the funding, the program application components, and any reported outcomes on these faculty incentive programs. So we're going to talk about our results. So Table 1 illustrates the years of publication for those 23 included studies in the scoping review. The range of publication dates was over an 8-year period between 2015 and 2022. We didn't find any studies detailing faculty incentive programs before 2015. The largest number of studies was in 2020 with 5 studies, but we also had 4 studies published in 2016 and 2021. Table 2 shows you the studies included in our scoping review represented 13 U.S. states and 2 European countries, including the Republic of Ireland and the United Kingdom. California and North Carolina are each represented in 3 studies, while Kansas, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Ohio, and Texas are each represented in 2 studies, which isn't surprising. We know some of these states have instituted state programs for OER incentivization. Table 3 shows you the type of educational institution as classified by the National Center for Education Statistics. And most institutions, about 76%, were 4-year publics. In the 10 studies that reported the subject areas of OER that were adopted, or created by these faculty incentive programs, there was not one field that dominated. There were 34 social science related texts, 33 from STEM fields, and 24 related to the humanities. So there was a wide range represented and no subject area dominated. If you look at Table 6, many of the programs outlined in the studies required faculty members receiving the incentives to deliver some type of product or report an outcome to receive the OER incentive. 14 of the 23 studies detailed these deliverables, and they ranged from replacing course materials with an OER to filling out an application or completing a survey. Each program had different requirements and ways to fulfill its goals. And this table lists what was specifically talked about in the study. So for Table 7, this highlights that in the majority of the studies, 17, the library was the reported administrator of the faculty incentive program, and the incentive type was and the incentive type was a monetary grant, with over 21 of the studies reporting that a monetary grant was the incentive type. The most common funding source was from sources outside of the library, which included the university administration with 8, state government with 7, university foundation with 2, student government also with 2, as well as lesser numbers from student fees, philanthropic foundations, university scholarly presses. Jumping over to Table 8, this illustrates that most programs, or 19 of them in this study, began between 2013 and 2016. So no included studies reported on in this study began after 2020, which we thought was interesting. About half of the programs, or 11, did not report how many rounds of funding had taken place, as you can see in Table 9. But for those that did report the number of rounds of the funding, 2 rounds were the most reported number of rounds. So in this summary, financial grants or stipends were the most common incentives offered through faculty incentive programs in this study, followed by instructional design and technical assistance, professional development assistance, awards and public recognition, and course release time. Funding for faculty incentive programs came from various sources, including the academic institution's general budget, the library budget, library special funds, senior administration funds, and academic departments or external grants. Most studies, 74%, reported that the library is the administrator of the program, that the incentive type is a monetary grant, that was 93%, and that the funding sources are from a source outside of the library, which at 96% of the studies reporting that. The included studies represented 25 academic institutions, with 76% being four-year public institutions. Data on the number of recipients was not reported across all the studies, but we counted 611 recipients and 304 OER used by faculty in their courses in these studies. No single subject area dominated the OER text used by faculty receiving the incentive, and we were able to calculate a total reported savings to students at about $34 million. So most of the studies in this review were case studies and not empirical research studies. An avenue of future research may be to do a comprehensive analysis of faculty incentive program assessment data. While there wasn't some data in these 23 studies, none represented a complete assessment of a program. Long-term assessment of the incentive programs would be a beneficial endeavor. Research might analyze whether the program's increased faculty involvement with OER helps schools with recruitment and retention and improve students' overall knowledge. Several studies focus on other aspects of OER use in higher education, including enrollment data, institutional effectiveness, and teaching and learning practices. Still, none of these studies tie those assessment measures to library-led faculty incentive programs.